Good evening to one and all present here. SA Engineering College, an autonomous institution, was established by Dharmanayadu Educational and Charitable Trust in the year of 1998 to 1999 with an overall experience of 22 years now. SA Engineering College is approved by AICTE and affiliated to Anna University, Chennai. Our college is well equipped with the state-of-art, world-class laboratories, central library, workshops, and research labs. We are certified with NIAC and National Board of Accreditations (NBA). Our college offers 10 UG programs and 6 PG programs. SA Engineering College maintains high standards of education by providing a wide array of world-class academic facilities, employing highly qualified and creating an ambience of conducting a highly qualified education. On behalf of our college management, I would like to welcome Mr. Vishwanath NJ. He is an expertise in FM receiver. Now I hand over the session to him.
Good evening to all. I am NJ Vishwanathan. Now I am going to see about FM receiver. So we are going to learn about the full process of FM receiver, how it's working, and what is the principle began in it. Whether I am audible? Anyone say?
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
Yeah. Okay. Sure. So what is meant by FM receiver? This is a very familiar term you are using daily life. What is meant by FM? The term FM expands to frequency modulation. What is meant by frequency modulation? We also known as frequency modulation and amplitude modulation. Amplitude means the height. Frequency means the frequency it's between the time. So it's called frequency. In amplitude modulation, the amplitude will change. The frequency is constant. In FM modulation, the FM means frequency modulation. The frequency will change. The amplitude and the phase will be constant. So this is the difference between amplitude modulation and frequency modulation. Why are particularly using frequency modulation? Why you are not using amplitude modulation? These and all we are going to see in this section. So this is the objective. The objective is to design and construct the FM radio receiver. So we are going to build FM receiver and we are going to see how it's working. It is able to tune commercial FM radio. We are also known as the FM radio stations like 97.1 and Suryam FM like that. These are called radio stations, and the frequency spanning from 87.5 megahertz to 108. This is the range, so only we are using this range. And this is the FM frequency modulation where a frequency is very less, but in amplitude the frequency will be more area space. It's like kilometers, more than 1,000 kilometers like that, and it produce audible demodulator output. What is meant by demodulator means what is meant by modulation? First we will see. Modulation means the FM frequency will be shift from one place to another by using a modulated wave, and demodulated wave means the information is extracting from the output. It's called demodulator. If you are giving the same as it is, the speaker will not work. So only we are doing the demodulation. And the motivation. What is the motivation of this FM receiver? In this era, the FM receiver is not at all using daily basis, but a few people, professionals are using like car taxis and many others. They are using only FM receiver. We are booming internet very well. So FM receiver is has many disadvantages. In rainy seasons, it will not work, and one particular range only it will be shown the radio stations. These are the FM receivers minus. So we are going to solve these problems. So only we are learning the FM receivers. In FM receiver, the multi-standard wireless system is very challenging task. This is the very challenging task in FM receiver. The motivation is proposed research work come from need to compact and multiple frequencies. There are only few frequencies in this range, the 88 megahertz to 108 megahertz. So we are going to we are going to improve many frequencies between these ranges. And what is meant by radio receiver? Radio receiver is called FM receiver. The basic concept of FM receiver is it will receive the radio waves from the space, and it converts the information carried out by them to a usable form. Usable form means audio frequencies. We can able to hear songs like that, news and all those things. And the noise will not be there if the noise is rejected by the filter. The filter is inbuilt in the FM, so it will reject unwanted signal, and it demodulate the carrier signal. Carrier signal means the carrying the signal. The signal is carried by the carrier wave. It's called a carrier signal, and it given to them, and it get back to the original modulating signal. There are classification I already mentioned in starting. There are only two classifications, that is AM and FM. AM is the amplitude modulation. The range is 535 kilohertz to 1700 kilohertz. It's only in huge area. The antenna will not be constructed, so the signal is catches by electromagnetic field process. For example, in radio, for example of AM modulation, the All India radio is known as amplitude modulation. In previous years, like 1970s, the All India radio is only one station is used in that period, because in AM modulation only one channel can be used, but the range is so high. We can the FM message could travel so long, but in no, FM range is only a particular range. It's like one city. It's only calling radio city. In Chennai only it will range. If you are going to southern Tamil Nadu, the FM station will be, the range will be changed. But in All India radio, it's called Total India. It will be the same. So only it's called AM modulation, and its range also very high. FM receiver. This is the concept in FM receiver. See the GIF here. The frequency is changing, but amplitude is not changing. The frequency is changing depends upon the initial wave, that is called sinusoidal wave. FM receiver is a circuit that receives frequency modulated signal, and the frequency range we already seen 88 to 108 megahertz. And the FM receiver and the transmitters are more complex as compared to AM receiver. Yes, in AM receiver only one channel, so it's very easy to generate signals. But in FM there are many channels, and it's very complicated more than AM. In FM is later only it's found in USA in 1930s. AM is found by Marconi in 1890s, and he sent a message first he sent a message yes, and it is received 2 years later only. This is the concept. This is the waveform. This is the sinusoidal wave. The sinusoidal wave is the modulation signal. This is the carrier signal. Carrier signal will be collaborate with the modulation, and it will be finally it's modulated carrier signal. This is will be sent to the FM signal. See, this is the difference between signal and AM. Signal AM and FM. This is the normal signal. This signal only the information will be passed. This is the AM. See, in AM, the amplitude means the height. The height is changing. Frequency range will be the same. Height is changing only. See, in FM means frequency modulation. In frequency modulation, the frequency is C. There is a difference in this. This signal up to the positive wave, it will be the same. If it is going to negative, the frequency will be large. Like that only. The frequency is changing. So only you are generating many frequencies between 88 to 108 megahertz. This is the main concept in, this is the main principle in FM. Let me see about a circuit diagram. In this circuit diagram, we are only using ICLM386, and the transistors, two transistors, BF494, BF494 T2, and the coil and capacitor C1, C2, and the antenna. And for output, we are using headphone. In this, the IC number 2 is connected to ground and 4 also connected to ground, and from output of T2, the base is connected to capacitor, and the output of capacitor is given to the 10k ohm resistor, and the pin 3 is connected to resistor. So, and after that, the sixth pin is given as 4.5 volt, and the fifth pin is called output. From the fifth pin only we will generate the FM signal. Then we see how the circuit is working. First of all, we have to see what is the components. We already seen there are two transistors. These two transistors are important. The FM receiver section has two transistors, that is T1 and T2, where to detect the frequency modulation signal, the transistor will only catches the FM signal from the space, and the coil L1 and the trimmer capacitor form the tuned circuit. Tuned circuit means the combination of capacitor and inductor is called a tuned circuit. And to tune the receivers to best stations, like we are changing the FM stations to one station to another, so it's only the capacitor is using the trimmer capacitor is used for changing the stations, and the signal or capacitor coupled through 10k C2. C2 is used for, C2 means capacitance 2 is used for, capacitor 2 is used for adjusting the volume. So finally, we are giving the input to IC. The IC is the micro power audio amplifier. This is the IC special. It will generate the audio signal. What is the motive of FM? FM is the motive of FM is to generate audio signals from the radio signal. So if you are going to work with DC circuit, we are only giving 4.5 to 12 volts DC signal, DC voltage. The amplified sound can be heard through low impedance earphone. Finally, the output is generated from there. How it is working in brief manner. First of all, antenna catches the signal and sent to the tuner. The tuner is known as coil inductor L1. Basically, tuner is a combination of inductor and variable capacitor to form the circuit that resonant at the particular frequency. What is meant by resonant frequency? Frequency of this is called frequency of object tends to vibrate at higher amplitude. Resonant frequency, for example, we will see one example for resonant frequency. If you are in bridge, the bridge will shake if the vehicle is moving continuously. The vibration is known as a resonant frequency. This resonant frequency depends on value of inductor and capacitor. From the inductor and capacitor only, the resonant frequency will be changed. And this act as band pass filter and block frequency above and below resonant frequency. Band pass filter is known as to reduce the unwanted noise. We couldn't able to delete full noise, but we can able to reduce the unwanted noise. For that only filter is using. Yeah, they given. So we only get a resonant frequency and we reject the unwanted frequencies. Components of the FM receiver. These are the components of the FM receiver. We already seen transistor BF494. We are used in two transistors, capacitor, trimmer capacitor. That's range is 5 to 120 picofarad, and capacitor C2 0.22 microfarad, and capacitor C3 0.1 microfarad, and LM386 IC, and audio jack. Audio jack is used for getting the audio signal, and inductor, resistor, and the potentiometer. Potentiometer is used to tune the frequency range, and headphone. Trimmer capacitor. We will see what is the full purpose of trimmer capacitors and all the components here. Trimmer capacitor is a variable capacitor which is used to initially set the oscillator frequency value in a circuit. This is capacitor which is used to get correct station. We will check for a FM station where the information is getting, where the songs are getting. So for that we have to need to change frequencies. For that only we are using trimmer capacitor. The transistor BF494, it's a medium frequency transistor which is used in FM AM. This transistor is only used in FM and AM only for getting the low noise mixture. The IC, the only one IC used in the FM is LM386. This is an integrated circuit used in FM receiver as low voltage audio power amplifier. This IC is also known as audio power amplifier. Audio power means for getting the audio signal from the radio signal. The aerial or antenna. We will see the one thing about antenna. If in FM the range is so small, so the antenna should be used. In mobiles and all, we can't able to use FM without a headphone jack because of the antenna problem. And if you're connecting headphone only, the signal will be captured. Signal will be received. So for that only we are using external audio jack. The audio jack is not at all using as audio jack. If you connect it in audio jack, it will be used as an antenna only. If you are have any doubt, you could be able to use another conducting medium like coil, aluminum coil. You can fold it and insert it in the audio jack. You could able to switch to FM stations. That is the purpose of antenna. So in this antenna only we will receive the radio signals, and the antenna is also able to radiate the signals. This is the olden days antenna. This is the new model antenna, and for nowadays for phones are using inbuilt antennas. It's up to 0.5 centimeter like that only. This is the block diagram. We should learn about what this is the full process and the full skeleton of the FM receiver block diagram. First of all, the antenna, from the antenna, the RF amplifier is given. RF amplifier means radio frequency. Radio frequency is captured by antenna, and simultaneously it will give to mixer and oscillator. Oscillator which is used to detect the signal, and the mixer which is used to separate a signal from one to another. After that, from mixer, it will give to filter. The signal is processed to filter. Filter is used to filtering the unwanted signals, and it will receive voice, non-voice and all. It will reject, and the audio is very clear after the filter process. After that, we should be, if you directly given the filter to audio amplifier, if you directly giving the audio signal to audio amplifier, the speaker will not work because demodulation is not the demodulation process is not taken. So if you're going to do demodulation, we have to give the signal to IF amplifier, and after that it will set some limit. So only you are using these 3 blocks. The IF amplifier is intermediate frequency amplifier, and the limiter is used to reject after. If you're giving to intermediate amplifier, there will be create some noise again. So we are using the limiter to set the frequency noise rejected, and it will be directly given to frequency demodulation. After demodulation only we will receive the audio signal. After that it will connected to speakers, and we could able to hear. Session of block diagrams for FM receiver. RF amplifier. A radio frequency power amplifier, RF power amplifier, is a type of electronic amplifier that converts a low power radio frequency signal to higher power radio frequency signal. We already seen the IC is known as a low power audio amplifier, so that only we are using RF. In this RF, the low frequency is converted to high frequency, because if you are giving the high frequency only, the IC will be working. We will get initially a low power only. From the space we will get only low signal, so it's strengthening the signal and giving. For that strengthening the signal, we have to use RF amplifier. Typically, RF power amplifier drives the antenna of the transmitter. After here, the RF amplifier. After the antenna only we are using the RF amplifier, so that only the antenna will get a signal. It's a low noise only, low strength. So we are boosting the signal to high wave. So only we will do the all this process. Mixer. Mixer is already seen in before only. In electronics, frequency mixer is a nonlinear electrical circuit. Which the nonlinear means the waves are not at all in even. It's a nonlinear manner. So new frequency from the two signals applied. If you are giving the two signals, the mixer is the process to do some sum and difference. It will produce a new signal, and the sum process, the sum F1 and F2 is added, and the difference of F1 and F2 of the original frequency will be will be set as output. Mixer are widely used to shift signal from one frequency range to another frequency. This mixer, for change, if you are going to change a frequency from one to another, we will get some noise in between that. That noise only, the noise process taken by the mixer only. This process is known as heterodynamic. What is mean by heterodynamic means? Heterodynamic means to combine something. Combining of one signal and with another is known as heterodynamic. Filter we already seen. Ceramic filter only we are using electronic components, and in ceramic filter it is used to reject unwanted signal received by antenna. This is the real filter used in the electronic circuits. The inductors, the four inductors are given. After that, the signal is given. So the inductor will reject the unwanted signals. IF amplifier. Intermediate frequency amplifier is used to amplify the intermediate frequency received from filter. After we get a signal from filter, we will give to IF amplifier to get audio power, audio frequency like without noise, we have to get output. For that only we are using IF amplifier. This is also known as some IC. This IC is also known as audio power amplifier. In this intermediate frequency amplifier, we use it to strengthen the intermediate frequency. After we are giving, after we are getting intermediate, after we are getting from filter, if you are filtering something, the output will be become very weak. So we have to strengthen again. For that only you are using IF amplifier. For that only you are using the frequency. If you are using the intermediate frequency, the signal will be more strength than before. Limiter. The limiter we have already seen. If you are getting output from a low noise to high noise, the actually it will be get some noises in between the signal. For that we have to reject noise without deleting the information from it. For that only we are using limiter. The signal received from IF amplifier is applied to the limiter, which removes the noise from received signal and gives the constant amplitude signal. And fatally damping the function, which is modulated amplitude waves. The signal sent by the transmitter in order to form pure FM signal. For that only you are using. If you are damping the signal, the noise will be automatically rejected by using the limiter. Finally, we will get a pure FM signal. Demodulation, the final step of the FM process. Demodulation, see the diagram, you could be able to easily understand. Demodulation, this is the modulation wave. The signal with some information. After that we are giving to demodulation. The output of the demodulation is the information is separated. The demodulator is an electronic circuit that is used to recover the information content from the modulated carrier wave. Yeah, here we are seeing the modulated carrier wave, which contains the information from the transmitter side, and it's in this demodulation, it's extracting the original information signal from the modulated carrier wave. For that only we are doing the demodulation process. FM demodulation or detection involves changing the frequency variation in the signal into amplitude variation at baseband. Example audio. In FM demodulation, it involves some changing in the frequency. For that only we will get some audio from audio signal like news or songs like that. AF amplifier, audio frequency control amplifier. AF means audio frequency amplifier. Also it's known as automatic fine tuning. Automatic fine tuning means if you are changing from one frequency to another frequency, the audio will get some noise. So it will automatically finding the tuning, or automatically it will correct itself to set at the particular frequency which the information is content. For example, if you are searching in mobile FM, it will automatically detect the channels where the stations are present. In particular, if you are using 97.7, 97.1, there only will get the information. There only having the station. In 97.91.7, like that other frequency and all, it won't contain any information. For that only, it will detect automatically where the FM station is present, which frequency the FM station is present. It is primarily used in radio receivers to keep the receiver tuned to the frequency of the desired station. Yeah, we have seen it. Oscillator. Oscillator, the electronics local oscillator is an electronic oscillator used with mixer to change the frequency of the signal. We are given to all simultaneously oscillator and the mixer. After the information is get from space, the radio frequency get from space, we are giving to mixer. For that, you have to use oscillator. This frequency, this is called a frequency conversion processor. That is, we have to sync the signal. For that only, you are using the oscillator. It's also called as heterodynamic processor. Heterodynamic process means it will do heterodynamic produces the sum and difference frequency from the frequency of local oscillator and the frequency of input signal. Finally, it's processing the signal at fixed frequency, gives a radio receiver improved performance. Finally, we will get a improved performance of audio signal. FM application. Frequency modulation can be used for broadcasting of FM radio. Where and all the FM is using. We already seen FM is very familiar in our day-to-day life. So we are already using mobiles and cab like that. While we are traveling, we'll use the FM, or we'll use some. We'll listen some news from the FM only. For all those areas, FM is using. In telemetric radar and seismic prospecting, in EEG monitoring of newborn, etc. Also use the technique of frequency modulation. This is the new thing. And frequency modulation is also using telemetric radars and the seismic prospecting, EEG of monitoring newborn babies. For monitoring the babies also, we are using the FM signal only. And it is also used in music synthesis, some systems that use video transmission, and also for magnetic tape recording systems. These are the olden days methods to use FM signals. And we will see the main motive of this FM receiver. The main motive of the FM receiver is where to understanding the basic components and working of basic principle behind the communication between transmitter and receiver. Why you are using FM receiver nowadays, and why I selected the FM receiver as my thing means where this is very important than other things in FM, other things in communication field and the electronic field. Well, FM receiver is the mass media communication, and mass media first we have found the mass media communication of FM after the telegram and all those things found. So if you are going to be in electronic and communication field, FM receiver is the very basic thing to learn and to evolve our knowledge. And so first learn about what basic is, and then let you automatically inspire new invention through it. If you are thorough in the basics only, the knowledge will be developed, and after that only you could able to inspire from new projects, new gadgets, or a new invention from the basic thing. Where in FM the signal and systems, we are first learning the theory in FM only, frequency modulation and AM modulation. But if we are going to do as a practical only, we could able to understand fully. After that, we will be shining. Finally, what are the FM advantages? I have said first itself disadvantages. So we have to first see what the if we are doing any projects or any gadgets. First of all, we have to see what are the disadvantages. So only we will rectify it. So advantages are money. So FM advantages are the frequency is low that, but many frequency ranges between the 88 to 108 megahertz. For the in that range, we will use many radio stations. For that only, FM is very advantageous, and but the frequency, but the range could we will hear only a particular range up to one district or like that only, one state only. We couldn't able to transmit a signal from long, like Kashmir to Tamil Nadu. We couldn't able to transmit the FM signal. But the only one advantages in AM is that the only one thing is it is very wide range thing. FM, there are many things than FM than AM transmitter. FM, this makes the FM ideal for two-way radio communication. Yeah, and AM they could only able to send the information, they couldn't able to receive. But in FM we could able to call, we could able to do two-way communication. Like if you are calling to FM stations and we could able to speak with them or like that, they also could able to speak like a telephone communication. Frequency modulation is also resilient to noise and interference, and there will not be any noise, and there will not be any interference between the frequency modulation. But in AM there are many there could be able to do, we could not able to listen properly in AM receiver. It will be always has some noise with it, but in FM we could able to hear in a very good noise. It is also easier to apply modulation at low level power amplifier, low level stage of transmitter. It's also easier, it's very easy to apply the modulation at low level power frequency range. With the help of frequency modulated signal, we can use RF amplifier. In this FM signals, we can able to use RF amplifier. Means RF means radio frequency amplifier. Finally, the conclusion. I therefore conclude that FM receiver is indeed suitable for electronic engineering students. If you are going to select electronic engineering students, we should first learn about what is the basic communication in field, that is called FM communication. After that only, after FM only, the all communications are developed. So I implemented the FM receiver part and the audio amplifier part respectively at very beginning while designing the FM receiver. First of all, I didn't get output. For that I have to use FM receiver port and audio amplifier with respect to the signal. And some problems also got for using the transistors. After replacing transistor with an IC, for we could able to get directly from transistor itself or without any IC, but the noise is very high. IC is an integrated circuit which consists of thousands and thousands of transistor inbuilt it. So only with two transistor we couldn't able to get the output. So only I'm using one IC. For that IC we could able to we will be able to get good response. We have now seen exact application of our lessons such as FM modulation, wireless communication, demodulation. FM modulation, demodulation, all those things we have seen in it. Now I am going to show you a live demo of the FM receiver. Here is the FM receiver I have made. This is the FM receiver, and in this you could able to see what are the things. In FM receiver, we are only using the DC circuit. For that, we will get only 220 volt AC. For that conversion, we are using the transformer. Transformer is used to conversion from high voltage to low voltage and low voltage to high. We are in this FM receiver, we are using high voltage to low voltage. For that, using your transformer. After transformer, it will given to diode. Diode is which is able to convert AC to DC. This is a transformer. This is a speaker. Speaker will get output. This is the circuit board. In this circuit board, we could able to see the ICs, the LM346 IC and the audio power amplifier. This is controlling of volume. This is the volume control, and this is the changing of frequency. The frequency would be able to change. Now let me see what is the output from it. This is output. We could able to change the frequency. This is the noise between the two frequencies. This is the controlling of noise. This is the output from the FM receiver. Finally get from the project. That's all. If you have any doubt, you can ask. Thank you.
On behalf of our college management, I would like to thank each and everyone for attending the session. Also, I would like to thank Mr. Vishwanath NJ for sharing their time and knowledge with us. Thank you.